And Monday, Dr. Shawn will be bringing Nate Forrest back for a special interview at 6 a.m. So wanted to remind you guys, if you could support, that would be amazing. Also, Tuesday night, I am going to do a tutorial on how to use the Clubhouse app with all the updates, because if you haven't been on the app in a minute and you are coming back, or even with the updates that they randomly do, it can be hard to navigate. There were 200 people in an automotive room yesterday. There are people on this app. There are people who will come.
Mary Lynn and Debbie, a nice flare up. Let's go. Woo! Let's go. Two more. Woo! Yes. All right, y'all. So I'm going to be a little inappropriate, but I got a fun twist to it. You guys heard the song. Okay, I'm telling my age, but Gen X, and Zennials, as I like to call them. Some of y'all, millennials who are probably 39, 40, y'all might know the song too. And it was by Salt and Pepper, but I'm finna put a health twist to it. Let's talk about stress, baby. Let's talk about you and me. Let's talk about all the good things and the bad things that can be. Okay, let's talk about stress. You see what you guys started, Mary Lynn? Mary Lynn, you got to help me, though, with the karaoke, right?
Right. But it takes two. Now we can't stop her. Now she's doing the whole 80s review. She's done to do her. It's the whole thing.
I'm telling you. So you know what? Maybe, Mary Lynn, hint, hint, we can get this thing started in September when we come to Tampa. But we definitely gonna do something, right? At Myrtle Beach. So y'all gotta come if you want that BWC.
We can make it the tradition.
Oh my God, that'd be so fun. See, I'll have courage. There's a little more courage in numbers. See, they help me overcome my fear. But you guys, if you didn't know, this month is Stress Awareness Month. All right, so I have two important lessons for you guys. So, lesson one, and then we're going to start and pivot into lesson two at 7:30. But lesson one, listen, ignoring these two things, y'all, will shorten your lifespan. Ooh, and guess what? Lesson two, this is why you definitely want to make sure you're here at 7:30, is simply not knowing these four things about stress cause weight gain. I'm gonna give y'all the four horsemen. The four horsemen, so that we got that extra weight. Listen, sleeping up on us and creeping up on us. You know what I mean? We don't need no weight, sneaky links, as they would call them, the young folks would say. So, anyways, let's get into it. Make sure you share this room if you have not shared it. I am Shawnte Health Wells. I'm Mabel's granddaughter. Listen, committed and passionate health educator. I want to make sure we get right to it. So number one, your stress mindset. And I really thought it was so funny that TM was going to be doing this, because I was telling when I come to his room, I was like, I was so annoyed with him saying mindset. I said, if he say mindset one more time, like it was literally, but I was like, there's no better word to express this specific principle when it comes down to your stress mindset. And for those of you who are wondering where I'm getting this from, there's a phenomenal book, and I'm going to do a giveaway for it at the end of this short lesson. And it's called The Upside of Stress. The Upside of Stress. And it's by Dr. Kelly McGonigal. And she talks about your stress mindset. So in Ice Cube words, he says, listen, check yourself before you wreck yourself. So thinking that all stress is bad, or saying these little cheeky phrases and spiritual terms like, I'm too blessed to be stressed, Listen, that's ignorance. Listen, being ignorant of this critical fact that I'm about to tell you is the one thing that is going to help you keep shortening your telomeres, which is basically your lifeline. So you got to understand that stress is something that is meant to be harnessed. It's something that is meant to be harnessed. I'm going to say it again. Listen, stress is meant to be harnessed. You got to shift your stress mindset. The way that you see stress will shorten your lifespan. If you continue, I wish I knew someone that knew Charles Barkley to get out of his own way, because I would not be shocked if he doesn't pass away within the next few years, because he's continuing to say this narrative of, oh, I'm a probably die before 70. I'm gonna probably die before 70. He talks about all of these stressors and things that have impacted his life. He continues to speak that, and he actually believes it. I've watched numerous interviews where he's done this and talked about this, and I was like, I said, the power of life and death is in the tongue. And so if he really truly believes that, just like if we really truly believe that stress is going to kill us, if we think that all stress is bad, guess what? We're shortening up that death date. And I want us to move away from this. It's a powerful book. I highly, highly recommend that you guys really take the time and, go through that upside of stress. You got to check your mindset about stress. Stress is meant to be harnessed. Stress is here. Listen, you're blessed because you're stressed. You cannot live without stress. Just like you can't live without water, you cannot live without stress. I need you to unmic with me and say, I need stress. Let's go. 1, 2, 3. I need stress. One more time. I need stress. Hey, and just like stress is your friend. Stress is your friend. I am telling you, if you change the way you see stress, if you put it in the category of water, even if you be hating on water, I know some of y'all can't stand water, but here's the thing. You can't live without it though. You cannot live without water. I bet that. You cannot live without stress. Locomotion is not possible without stress. You cannot breathe without stress. But when I get into one of the things that people don't understand about weight and stress, ooh, y'all mind gonna be blown. Listen, I ain't come to play, but I got an activity for you, because I want to make sure that we start this thing with some gratitude and some interaction before I get into point 2. So I want you to think about 2 people right now. Think about someone that relieves and alleviates stress, and someone that maybe takes away stress, takes something off of your hands, and maybe some psychological stress or some work-related stress or community-related stress. I want you to think about 2 people, and we want to speak their name in gratitude. So I want to go and pop around the stage, and I want you all to tell me 2 people that you're grateful for that relieve some stress. That could be current, past, or maybe some future stress that they're working on. And doesn't matter if they are currently here, or if they've passed on. But I really want us to speak in gratitude about someone who's taken away some stress or relieved some stress. They're a stress reliever for you. Who wants to go first?
I love it because, even positive effects, even positive situations, what we view as a positive situation, still brings stress. So if you try to look at it as alleviate stress from your life, you're not going to have stress. It's the way it is. So my 2 people, I have my Aunt Betty. She would help me most definitely. She was wisdom for me and always support. And so I'm thankful for her. She's in heaven now, and she's still watching over me. And someone else that I would want to say their name is a dear friend of mine named Anthea, who always, we're very like-minded, and we bring one another down. We check one another. It's wonderful to have somebody that is going to be honest with you about the reflection that they see, and not just give you what you want to hear, but what you need to hear. And so I would say Samaria. I'm sorry, I'm saying Thea. I have Samaria too, but and my Aunt Betty. So thank you very much.
Can we unmic and give Aunt Betty a big old flare? I'm loving it. Thank you, Dr. Jen. I absolutely love that. Who wants to go next? Come on, y'all. Listen, I know y'all got somebody that is a stress reliever, even if there's sometimes, it could be our kids that maybe they stressed us out a little bit, but they also relieve some stress. So, or maybe it's someone that helps you getting things done that relieves stress. I can tell you one person in this movement I am super grateful for that takes away a lot of our stress, which is Dora Maria with the things that she does in the background. Woo! I am so very grateful for her. Who wants to pop in next?
I'll go, Mary Kim. I think what is my son, the way he's always like, you adults just take things too seriously. It's really just that simple. And the way he just goes about his life, like he no matter where he goes, he's gonna find a spot that's his spot and he's gonna chill. He's always been that way. So he's a constant reminder for me, like, Mary, slow down. It's not that serious. Be patient and enjoy the moment. And he actually forces me literally to sit down, and he refuses to move, or he'll like take me to the couch and sit on me, and I can't really move him if he doesn't want to get moved. So I want to say my son helped me with that reminder. So thank you.
Can we give Desi a nice fire emoji for making sure his mama sits down? I'm so grateful for him too. I love it. I love it. Desi for the win. Who wants to pop in next?
Okay. I mean, like we talk about our sons, but if you are kids, I am very fortunate as a mother to be able to put my head down at night and not worry about my grown son. I realize that is not a gift everybody has. And I don't take it for granted that I check in on his mental health because he has his tough days. He can get frustrated or a little bit if he has an injury, he has to be active. So if he has an injury, he's battled or something, he gets really he can get down, and so I check on him that way. And that's probably about the only time that mom heart, like when he was sick these past 2 months. I'm gonna wrap it up here. Just that was the only thing I worry about. But that's just me being mom, wanting him to feel better because I feel better when he feels better. But truly not a worry. So that's the greatest gift I could ever have is my son. I just can put my head down at night and do not ever worry about him. And I think that is not a gift to be taken for granted. So thanks for that help.
Oh, I love that. Can we give Mary Lynn and her Miles a nice red heart gift? I am loving this. Yes. That peace of mind. I'm glad that he alleviates your stress as well. Who'd like to go next? I also see Marcy put her son and her best friend. She's grateful for those two relieving some stress. I know some of y'all on this stage right now. There's more people. Come on, there's 2 people in your life that alleviate some stress for you.
I'll go real quickly. Trisha here. Sorry, Najami, you want to go? Please go.
No, go ahead, love. Go ahead. I'll come after you.
Thank you so much. So I'm going to say there's 2 women on either side of the generation for me. My mother is on one side and my daughter is on the other. And they both relieve stress for me because they're both supportive of me. So that I'm going to say that. Thank you, Hope, so much.
I absolutely love that. Can we give a hands up emoji for Trisha's mom and her daughter? Let's go. I'm loving this. Thank y'all for this involvement. Yes. All right, Najami, let's go for it. Come on, y'all. Let's speak these names.
My roommate, who's also my best friend, she's 33 years young. And she has a old soul. We have like minds. She has been my roommate now for the past 3 years, but we were friends. She was one of the first persons who believed in me creating Bush Women's Conversations Project. and she has a very calming spirit about her. When she gets pissed, you just need to move out of the way. But she definitely calms me down and gives me a different perspective. She helped me out of a jam the other night. I was with some friends and I was really going through a challenging time, and she came and rescued me from that. And my good friend Pritzker, who is living in Trinidad right now, and he's so motivating, and I can bounce things off of him, and he always makes me laugh or smile. So those are my two people so far. Yes.
All right, we got to give her two friends a nice, cool gift. I say, okay, Clubhouse, I see you. I love that, Najami. Thank you so much for sharing them. Let's wake this app up so Clubhouse knows that we are here. I'm loving it. Come on, y'all. I know y'all got some people that have helped to relieve some stress in your life. They could be family, they could be friends, colleagues. Go for it.
Well, good morning. So some of the people that relieve my stress are right here on the stage, but also my grandmother was a big stress reliever for me. I had a really good relationship with my grandmother, and the other one is my youngest son. He takes a lot of stress. Like, he'll help me out with things in the house, and every time I ask him, I might get the bruh, but he still winds up doing it. So those are the two for me.
Oh, can we give an aw gif? Can you find an aw gif? I absolutely love that. My grandmother for sure was mine, Debbie, too. So I'm so happy to hear you say that, as well as your son. Excuse me, y'all. I'm dealing with this pollen, being in North Florida now. Whoo, it has been a struggle many mornings. So I apologize if you hear me getting a little choked up. It's just a little extra special, going extra crispy cray, as I like to call it, because I'm getting hit by that grass pollen and that yellow tree pollen that I didn't know existed anywhere in Florida outside of Gainesville. But okay, we gonna make this thing through. Thank you so much, Debbie. I love it. Who'd like to pop in next while I try to get some heat on my throat really quick?
I'm gonna pop back in with my second person, and I was gonna say, man, that's really stinks when you couldn't think of a second person. So I'm just gonna say, a lot of people here as a collective, Breakfast with Champions, it can cause me stress at times because I want to show up for everybody and I want people to be happy, but you can't please all of the people all the time. But like, as a collective, this is where I come to get my my positive dose every day, and that alleviates my stress. So I would say, I know it's individual people, but I was like, gosh, no, my mom adds stress. No, like, do I really want to say Edwin? I don't know. Who else? No, my boss. Like, I was that all the time thinking of stress alleviators, but this community always shows up, and I'm gonna say thank you for that.
Woo! I absolutely love that. Listen, I love that she kept it 100. Can we give a 100 for the BWC community and the honesty in that share? I absolutely love that. All right, y'all. Thank y'all so much for participating. So let's go on to point number 2. DIY. Listen, I love me some HGTV. I love the DIY stuff and all of that. But stress ain't one of them, boo. Stress ain't one of them. DIY stress. I love the way Dr. McGonigal breaks this down. Listen, stress is not the thing that we're supposed to be doing alone. Stop trying to DIY stress. Listen, that agitation. So here's the way that we understand and know that we're hungry. It's through agitation. Otherwise, we would actually starve to death. This is a beautiful symphony of a body that is full of all types of chemical reactions going on, hormones and all of these things. There are stressors that are here simply to prompt us to connect with other human beings. So stop trying to do the DIY stress. Trying to do stress alone will definitely clip your telomeres. You don't want them to be shortened. It's just like a haircut. That ain't a haircut that you want. You want that bad boy to grow and keep growing. Listen, so instead of realizing that these are one of the body signals for you to connect, you get frustrated and see it as something that's negative. You're not too blessed to be stressed. You're blessed because of that stress. Stress is a gift. It is a gift. And it's a gift that is not meant to do it alone. That's why I love that example that Mary Kim used about her son. I love what Debbie used about her son, and what Mary Lynn and many other, and Dr. Jen, talked about her aunt. Listen, I am so grateful like that Najami was able to tap into like those friendships, and that we have people in our life that will also tell us the truth. So stress is also our friend. We just have to practice stress safety, just like we have to practice water safety. Water can heal us, but it can also kill us. You can drown in water, so you can drown in stress. So stress itself is not the problem. I need you to understand that it is necessary. So those 2 points, those 2 things that can help you now, if you get on the other side of it, that can help you lengthen your telomeres. And they have enough technology now with Inside Tracker and some of the others that can actually tell you, and actually within a reasonable amount of accuracy, short of getting hit by a bus or some, getting shot, and stabbed, or if you're in Miami, things like that, some kind of freak, outside thing. We're talking about just your pure lifespan. You have an opportunity. We have an opportunity to make it to be a centenarian. I'm passionate about this, y'all, because I lost my grandmother at an early age, and she was my best friend. My grandmother was everything to me. And she died at the age of 59. That is not good enough. That's not good enough for me. You don't let my family story be a cautionary tale for you. You have so much work. You have so much value, so much joy, and so much life to experience that you can stop thinking 70 or 60 is old. You ain't grown till you're 80. If the human lifespan currently is between 0 and 120, why would we not aim for past the goal? I'm aiming for 120. That's what me and Mary Lynn is aiming for. Y'all need to come on. Listen, when runners are running, they're not running just at the line. You're running past the line, because if you only run to the line, you typically gonna lose that race. Listen, I believe in keeping it 100 so we can get beyond 100 in our health. You need to have your focus shifted. And if you don't get a hold of this stress thing, it will kill you prematurely. And your mission, the thing that you've been put here to do, for many of you, it's going to take 100 years. We need you on this earth. And not only do we need you in this earth, we need you healthy on this earth. That's why what I'm going to talk about at 7:30 is so important. So point number 1, make sure that we address your stress mindset. You got to check yourself before you wreck yourself. And number 2, DIY stress. So make sure that you understand that stress is not meant to do alone. Stress is necessary. You can win. So who can tell me of the name of the book that I mentioned? Got a prize for you.
It's like on the tip of my tongue. Let me see. No, never mind. I'm thinking of a different book. Okay, cool.
It has the word stress in it. Who has an answer? I know you guys. Come on, I mentioned it. What am I discussing?
Something, was that a book, or was that just something you said?
That's my wrestling reference to something I said. Anybody want to take a guess?
I have mine, so it's worth it. Give us a hint.
Woohoo. Okay, so it ends in stress.
Mary.
2 words.
Says that she can. So Mary in the chat says she can.
Go for it. Go for it. Who has? Adam. Adam got it. The app side of stress. So Adam, you can either shoot me an email or DM me on Instagram, and I will get that out to you. Yes. I'm so excited. Yes. I'll give you a choice. Either the book or a free session with me. Whoop-de-whoop. I'm so excited. All right, y'all. All right. Are y'all ready for these important tips? We're ready to shift. Who's ready to shift? I'm Mike and say shift.
Yeah.
yet? I'm not ready.
Well, something I thought about, and I had to think about this for a little bit because when I think about stress, I'm like, that's the thing that caused me a stroke a couple of years ago. Like that stress isn't good. But I love how you worded it because there's good stress and bad stress. I think about it, if y'all didn't know, I do archery. I love archery. Stress is like you pulling back the bow, and if you keep piling it on, piling it on, piling it on, pulling it back, pulling it back, pulling it back without doing anything, it's going to pop in your face and it hurts really, really badly. If you have someone to assist you and help you and make that load lighter and you let the arrow go, it flies and hopefully you hit the target.
Yes, I love that analogy. Oh my gosh, that was so good. So good. So I would love to always start. So before I started any lesson in my classroom, I love to get I want your opinion. I want to know and see how you're thinking and what your ideas about whatever the topic could possibly be. Just even if you know nothing about it, but just from hearing the topic, what do you think the answer could be? So, but this is something I know you guys have heard. So I think you will have some suggestions or some things that I can put on this list. So I want you guys to think right now, what are some not so helpful, maybe stress reduction methods? What are some things that maybe you've heard of or seen people do to alleviate stress or, that are not probably helpful to them? Does anybody have some things that they can throw out there so that we're creating a quick list of not helpful stress reduction methods?
Not managing your glutathione because it takes apart in the telomeres. I mean, you want to not have the stress, but you want to have the physiological along with the psychological. So I think that's very important.
Dr. Jen, I think I missed the first part. It sounded kind of low for me. I don't know if anyone else, but I couldn't hear the first part of what you said.
To up your glutathione, which there's many ways to do that. You can do that through your diet. There's actually nasal sprays that can do that, but it works directly with the telomeres. I think we attack it from what you're doing with our thoughts and with our accepting stress and balancing it, along with the physiological. It's going to take us there and get us there all the further. This is such a vital topic you're talking about. I'm very excited that you are.
Absolutely. Dr. Jen, you're in the second part of the activity, the helpful part. I want to know some bad things or not good things that people do that they think is relieving stress.
Yeah, the things that they do are, their diet, not eating. You're asking things that they do that are not relieving their stress. They're not looking at any balance in their life. It's all or nothing. They're looking at stress as purely a negative and not realizing that when you have a new relationship, when you have a new baby, there's a stressor there. So it's all in the way that you look at it. So you have to change your mindset as to what you view stress is, and that's what you're telling us right now.
Absolutely. I love that. Who has some other negative things that you guys think that people do to so-called help, reduce their stress? I can tell you one that I definitely used to engage in, which was sugar, donuts specifically. Donuts was that supposed stress reliever for me. Now, y'all know good and well them donuts wasn't relieving no stress. But what's some others? I know you guys may know of others that are out there. What are some activities? Let's get some. You all have seen some habits that people do when they are stressed that is not going to help them.
Drinking that wine, the whole bottle.
Oh, yep. I think we're speaking the same thing. Drugs and alcohol.
Woo! Drugs, alcohol. There we go. Drugs, alcohol, sugar. Yes. Any more?
Binge watching politics.
Ooh, negative Nancy news is what I call it. Yes. So, well, go ahead. I heard someone else.
Oh, shopping. I said shopping.
Yes. Did somebody else? There was somebody else I didn't hear. I heard a clash. All right, so we got.
I said shopping.
Okay, got it. So shopping, like being a shopaholic, in essence, drugs, alcohol, binge watching, the news, having a negative viewpoint, overeating, or making poor diet decisions, or, stress-based eating. Oh man, I love y'all got some good stuff. Man. All right, any others before we move on?
Chat or drinking soda, negative talk, sex, but I'll say promiscuity, if I'm saying that right. Sugar, drinking alcohol, and so yeah, there's some a lot of these things done to excess individually are not bad. Just shopping is not bad, but it's the excessiveness of the thing.
Absolutely. That's exactly what we're talking about. And I love the fact that, we are actually, we got a variety of different ways that are, not necessarily helpful when we're speaking in terms of excess. We're not talking about, an occasional, glass of wine. When Rocky was talking about that, she was talking about, like, we're talking about overindulgence. We're talking about, like, people going ham. Like, I could promise you I wasn't having one donut. When I was going for donuts with stress, I can promise you I wasn't going to the vegan donut shop at first. Y'all know where I was going. Y'all know what I was doing. It wasn't one. So I'm just saying, those are some not helpful. Now let's get into what are some helpful methods that you think may help lower our stress levels to help us practice good stress safety. I heard that. I love what you talked about glutathione. Listen, I actually did a whole lesson on my show about glutathione and things that I call a mama gluta. And it's such a huge thing. What are some helpful things that you all do currently to relieve some stress?
Dancing, dancing, dancing. Just dance machine.
Woo-hoo!
Exercise.
Stress coloring book.
Oh my God. Rocky, did you just say coloring? A coloring book?
Yes, that is stress coloring book.
Oh my God. We're spirit sisters. Oh my God. I thought I was one of the few people, adults, that still color. Like, I absolutely love coloring. That is one of my go-to things. And Mary Lynn, my dancing sister. Oh my gosh. I am like, those two are like huge for me. Not to mention, honestly, my Organifi green juice that I drink. When I tell you the bomb.com, you talking about me making sure that I support my mama, which I call mama gluta, glutathione. Like, there's just when you get rich antioxidants, when you do things to support glutathione, I'm telling y'all, this will help you practice stress safety. I love these helpful tips. So who's ready to talk about these 4 horsemen? I got 4 things, y'all. 4 things. Not knowing these 4 things about stress can cause weight gain. And I'm not just talking about people like being overweight, because you can be skinny fat or you can become skinny fat. So on a scale, you have a normal weight. But when we look on the inside, you have some of the most dangerous types of fat, which is visceral fat in abundance. So let's get into it. I want to hear y'all on mic and say, get into it. I'm waiting. I'm waiting for you to tell me what to do.
Get into it.
Thank you. All right. I got somebody that said, let's get into it. Let's go. Let's go. All right. Yes. Water boy, you can do it. All right. So I call this the 4 horsemen. I'm not going to unpack all of them, so you're going to have to come back 2 weeks for Health Class USA part 2 of this, but I am going to mention it because I'm going to blow your mind right now. So our bodies we have an autonomic nervous system. There's 2 parts that we like to focus on, which is the parasympathetic and sympathetic. Today, I'm talking about the sympathetic nervous system. All right. Or what people like to call, in layman terms, the fight or flight. So we got 4. I call them the 4 horsemen of stress-based fat oxidation. So when you ignore these 4, guess what? You telling visceral fat, I want more. All right. So let's get to this epi. Can we say epi? Come on. Epi. E-P-I. Epi. I need to hear you. Epi. Epi.
All I can think is
Epi.
EpiPen. So where we go with Epi?
That's exactly the round we're going. Epinephrine. I try to give you a anchor to it. So I say epi, when I tell you I repeat these, and this is how I get my students to remember the 4. So epinephrine. All right. We're talking about burn, baby, burn. I wish I had a soundboard, Mary Lynn, where I could just actually insert that little clip right there. Burn, baby, burn. Yes, so that's going to be part 2. I'm going to be talking about burn, baby, burn. But here's the thing. So think about the fact of having something that burns more calories and reduces your appetite. Ooh, it's going to be so juicy when we talk about this next lesson. But that's one of the 4 horsemen, all right? So if you ignore epinephrine, if you ignore and don't understand ways that we can tap into it, listen, that it's a hidden weight gainer if you ignore it. So let's go to horseman number 3 real quick. Nori. When I say nori, I call it nori. So norepinephrine. Yeah, that's right. Norepinephrine. So when I say epi, and listen, I used to tell my students, when I say epi, you say friend. Epi, friend, epi, friend. So that's how I kind of connected that whole word of epinephrine. So that way, when they see it on a test or when they're trying to recall, they have at least something to anchor it to. Same thing with nori. You know, I'm like, nori, hello, nori, where you at? So norepinephrine. Listen, norepinephrine, that's a bad mama jamma. When I tell you this chick is so fly, she is so fly. You know why? Because fat oxidation. Listen, fidget is the ticket. Fidget is the ticket. I need you to unmic and repeat after me. Fidget is the ticket. Fidget is the ticket. I can't hear you. Fidget is the ticket. All right. I'm going to break this thing down real quick, but you got to come back next time for part 2, because I'm going to really go in and give you a deep dive on epinephrine and norepinephrine. But here's the thing. Here's the beauty of what I love about norepinephrine. Lipolysis of the what? White adipose tissue. And guess what it does? Not only does norepinephrine go ahead and go for that against that white adipose tissue, guess what? It tags in that brown adipose tissue, which we know as brown fat. It's like, hey, come on, cuz, let's get it. Like the WWF, you know, like you got the tag team, WWF. Okay. Yeah, y'all could tell I had too much cordyceps mushroom coffee this morning. I'm telling you, Nori is a bad chick. Because not only does she go after the white adipose tissue, the WAT, as we call it, wet fat. Listen, she go ahead and tag that bat fat, which is the brown adipose tissue, which gonna go on ahead, and guess what? It's going to get rid of that white adipose tissue, which is what we don't want as much of. Okay, then. Thanks. That's called Nori. So how can we tap into that real quick? You ever seen fidgeters? Does anybody notice how thin people who are like, they fidget and they always like, they kind of got ants in the pants? Anybody ever wondered why? Curious, yes or no?
Do tell, I fidget.
So fidgeting taps into norepinephrine, and so many people like are told, oh, stop moving your legs, stop shaking it. You crazy. You better tell them to mind their business, because when you fidgeting taps into norepinephrine. So fidgeting is our friend. I'm telling you guys, if you would like to do a deep dive right now, check out, listen, Dr. Huberman's podcast from Stanford University. The Huberman Lab has done some extensive work in talking about the pathways and how and there's more than one way, but norepinephrine, and I'm telling you, fidgeting is a free, easy way that you can start. You can have fidget alarms, listen, on your clock. If you're not a fidgeter, these are simple, easy ways. There are others, and I don't have time to unpack that today, because I really want to talk about the other 2, because it picks up on some of the things that I was talking about last session with you guys when I was filling in for Monica last week. So fidget is the ticket. So fight or flight, that's that epi. We gonna burn, baby, burn. And then fidget is the ticket for Nori. Yes, we're talking about fat oxidation. All right. So these are all things that are a part of what? That sympathetic nervous system, our fight or flight. See, who knew that we could have a health lesson and talk a little bit about health science without going to sleep? All right, so let's get into the real G, that HGH. I want you to come off mic and I want you to chant this with me. HGH, HGH. Let's go. HGH, 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 HGH. Woo! Listen. Yes. Who was that? Natasha? Oh, I love it. I love it. I'm going to give you something for that, Natasha. She got the answer. Human growth hormone. Listen, you better sleep your way thinner. See, people talking about sleeping their way to the top. You literally can sleep your way to the top of, listen, that stress issue and making sure that you can use and utilize stress hormones. Listen, that will help you actually oxidize fat. A lot of people don't understand. Do you realize 75%, 75% literally comes from deep sleep? So sleep deprivation is not your friend. This is why, here's the thing. Here was the difference of with me coming into this new year, literally from the time of me starting the MAV reset with TM and Dr. Tangi. One of the biggest things that I fixed was my sleep. I've already dropped 29.5 pounds. Those who were in Myrtle Beach, if they saw me right now, they would see the difference. My goal for this first quarter was 32.5, but I got real close. Here's the thing, but y'all know I wildcatted a little bit. I was tearing them donuts up when I was in Myrtle Beach. I'm just saying, I'm just keeping it a buck. But 29.5 pounds. And you know, one of the two... exactly. There it was. I'm like, y'all know I was over here acting a fool, Mary Lynn, thinking I needed that donut, but it didn't work. And I thank God that it didn't, because it broke that loop for me. But that HGH, I'm telling y'all, do you realize the majority of the weight that you're going to lose, and your body needs you to take your behind to sleep. This is what your body, it sent me a text this morning, said, take your behind to sleep. Go to sleep. You see, your parents used to tell you to go to sleep when you were younger. Go to sleep. Carry your behind to bed, as my mama would say. Go to sleep. There's a reason for it. A lot of it is through the breath. We actually, we spend that fat calorie money. I'm telling you, deep sleep, HGH. So you thinking you got to go to this doctor and you trying to go and get these HGH injections when you can go ahead and get some more for free at night. Go to sleep. And not just go to sleep, practice good sleep hygiene. See, because when you got all of these lights, the blue light, the fake light, because we are all the time, oh, I like to keep it real. No, you don't. Not when you keeping it so fake at night and in your bedroom, you keeping it so fake with that light. That blue light is fake. It's fake. It's not the real sun, boo. I hate to tell you like this, but it ain't. And what it's doing is keeping you from getting to that deep level of sleep that you need, so the HGH can come on and run up, listen, that fat calorie bill. You want to spend that fat, you talking about making it rain? Let HGH make it rain fat calories for you overnight. Sleep your way thinner. Here's another thing that I need you to understand about sleep deprivation. And a lot of you guys, maybe because a lot of healthcare professionals speak over your head. So leptin, which is the satiety hormone, listen, when you are sleep deprived, when you don't get enough sleep for your body, and we all have different sleep chronotypes, I need 7.2. 7 hours and 20 minutes of sleep is my sweet spot. All right. So I don't need 8 hours. Some people do. Some people need 9. Some people need 5. You got to find out what you need. But what I'm saying is, when you actually don't get what you need, listen, you're talking about you actually decrease leptin by 19%. That's almost 20%, which means that you're going to be hungrier the following day. This is not about, listen, the math ain't mathing. It's not about willpower. It's actual pure health science at this point. You gotta go to sleep. I need somebody to type that in the chat. Go to sleep. When you deprive yourself of the sleep, not only is the HGH levels, you're not getting that to where it needs to be so that it can spend some of the fat calorie money and also some of the carb money that we've been stacking all day. Listen, but you're also going to make yourself, see, we got hormones that work in tandem. We're talking about leptin and ghrelin. See, when I have hard-headed athletes that I know certain things they're not going to do, I have to manipulate and make sure I attack their sleep, because I know that that's going to be the fastest, quickest way for me to also help them make weight. Especially boxers are hard-headed, y'all. I just need y'all to understand that. So sleep is something that's a secret weapon that I can use. This is why I'm such a big proponent of that Ease magnesium, because even if I'm sleep deprived, it's going to make sure that I cycle through and get to that most metabolic phase, that delta level of sleep, which is a 90-minute cycle within. I'm going to get there. I'm going to get there. But if I'm willing to make sure that I can get the 7.2 that I need, ooh, listen, the weight comes off like effortlessly. Like I don't change nothing else. Y'all know I'm a big walker. I love every day. I get it in every day. But that HGH, and I'm telling you, that leptin is super important. That's why you feel hungrier. Because if leptin drops, guess what comes up? Ghrelin. That's what you did. You called the G. Ghrelin was like, hey, here I go. Here I go. That's what you called, because you didn't want to go to sleep. I'm telling you, HGH is your friend. All right. And then last but certainly not least, because I want to open this up and I wanted you guys to be able to have an opportunity to have some dialogue around this. Listen, give us free. Listen, cortisol, the stress hormone. Yeah. Let me tell you what it do. Let me tell you what it do, because we've been hating on it, because cortisol, like, yo, why y'all tripping on me? Why you be talking all this smack about me when I'm actually here trying to help you? Listen, cortisol increases lipolysis. It spends energy money. And guess what kind of energy money it like to spend? Who can guess? What kind of energy you think it like to spend? Come on, y'all. I know somebody can guess. Guess. Fat, carbs, or protein. Which one do you think it prefers?
Carbs.
Fat and carbs is secondary. Two things that most of us got an abundance of, right? In America. I can't speak for other countries, but I can sure enough speak for America. I'm telling you, listen, not only that, there's two areas that it likes to, and we're not talking about an overabundance. We're not talking about chronic stress, because I'm gonna tell you the flip side of that thing. Listen, but what two areas can anyone guess that cortisol likes to spend fat and carb energy from? Hey, what part of the body?
Belly.
Yes, ding, 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 belly. The belly and the thighs. Listen, use cortisol. Use cortisol the right way. Cortisol prefers it. Literally, it is the process that your body actually uses to spend, listen, which we call metabolism. So you realize that the calories is literally just a measurement. It's a way of science basically saying, this is how much energy is available in this specific food or beverage, and this is the type. All right. So listen, cortisol want to spend fat calorie money. Cortisol wants to spend that carb money. And I don't know about y'all. Y'all know we got a whole lot of fat calories up in that bank, and we got some carb money up in that bank. But here's the thing. Here's the caveat. Here's the nuance with it. If cortisol comes and wants to party, as Cat Williams say, you gotta tell them no. If cortisol wants to party, you gotta send them on. Here's the thing, because if not, when you have chronic stress, when you get to that increased level, this is where you get into that increase. Your body's gonna convert all of that glucose that cortisol is doing. When it's there too long, when it's partying too long, listen, you're gonna get stuck like Chuck, because now it's gonna go ahead and convert stuff into fat and pack up your fat cells. That is not what you want. So cortisol is your friend. Stress is your friend. HGH is your friend. Nori is your friend. Epi is your friend. So I'm going to go back over the 4 horsemen of stress-based fat oxidation again. Cortisol, which is known as the stress hormone, it's going to increase lipolysis, which is spending that fat calorie money, spending that carb calorie money, and it likes to pull from the femoral area, which is your thighs, as well as the belly. Now, if you let cortisol party too long, you keep it high too long. Listen, if you don't do what Cat Williams say when cortisol want to come party, you got to tell her no. It's going to turn that into visceral fat, the most deadly fat, which is something that for sure will shorten your lifespan. This is why you see thin people, or even some people who look somewhat fit on the outside, but that visceral fat, which is something we don't talk enough about, well, listen, you'll be stuck like Chuck. It will kill you. It will kill you. I'm telling you, this ain't something that you want to play with. You want to reduce it. And we have so many ways that we can. Norepinephrine, listen, gonna tag in that brown fat. Brown fat is your friend. Brown fat can help you do something about white adipose tissue. Brown fat can help you do something about, listen, that also visceral fat. I need you to understand these 4 horsemen are your friend. Norepinephrine and epinephrine. Burn, baby, burn. All right. So what are the 4? Epinephrine, norepinephrine, HGH, and cortisol. Woo, I said a mouthful. Who actually has any questions, comments, feedback, or anything that they were curious about? We got 8 minutes to actually, to have some correspondence, or if you got any questions around this. Raymar, I see you have a question, says, how do I get HGH? Take your behind to sleep. Go to sleep. That is the predominant way. That's how we get the HGH. Go to sleep. Make sure you eliminate as much of the blue light as you possibly can. If you want to watch TV and Netflix and chill, turn on your blue light filter or get you some blue light blocking glasses. Or, hey, let's have a red light special, baby. I got red lights in my bedroom. Okay, thanks. Stop with the blue light after a certain point. So, any other questions? Anybody? Feedback, anything, comments? This is your opportunity to pop in. All right, well, I will give you another tip when it comes down to norepinephrine. Cold exposure. Listen, my hot flashes used to be so intense. But I'm telling you, I would actually put my head, I would open the freezer and just put my face and put my body near it. But here's the thing. I weigh in every morning because I understand the process of, I can tell whether I spent enough fat calorie money or carb money overnight. First thing in the morning. That's what I do with my athletes when I am trying to manipulate their weight, whether it be help them gain or lose. But listen, if you want to actually get some free, a tap in of these beautiful hormones that your body already has, listen, cold therapies is a big part of what we use in sports medicine to actually help with this norepinephrine process. So I'm telling you, you can win with stress. You got to change the perception. Yes.
May I just refer to a question in the chat?
Awesome. Go for it.
It says, sorry, is cortisol friend or foe? And confused. And my takeaway was kind of that, all things like we say in moderation. So I'm curious too, because I believe I battle that very issue with stress. And so I'm interested too.
Yeah, cortisol is hero and villain. I'm sorry, I wish I had another answer, but I'm telling you, it's either or. It's all in how you correspond with it. It's a friend, it's a necessary friend, but it is also a villain. It is a villain if you get too much cortisol and it's like dialing 911 all day, every day. So just let's say, for instance, water. If we can we take on too much water? Can we drown in water?
Yeah.
Yes. Cortisol is the same way. No different. So that's why I try to tell people to look at cortisol like it's water. You can like if we go to a swimming pool or we go to the ocean, we understand that there's so many like good benefits to being there and to being on the water and even drinking water and all that kind of stuff. But we also know that water is something that can kill us. And I think because people don't understand that if they don't process and have stress safety and not only think about it as a villain, you got to see it as a hero too. Like it will kill you. It can't, I'm telling you about something I heard. You can check out anything that I'm talking about today. NIH. Listen, I highly recommend that you guys check out the book, The Upside of Stress. I highly recommend the Andrew Huberman, the Huberman Lab podcast. You can find them on YouTube. Stanford University is a pretty well-known university, one of our top tier universities in the US. I'm telling you, Dr. Huberman had some phenomenal lessons and breakdowns, but more importantly, the work that they're doing around this is just so phenomenal and so well done. You know, peer-reviewed studies are important. So you don't have to take my word for it. I need us to understand that we have to see stress like we see water. Hero or villain. It can heal or it can kill. It's all in how we deal with it. It's all in how, if we don't allow the peaks and the valleys. So here's what needs to happen this is why like stress and sleep and the cortisol, like the tandem that needs to happen. So when you wake up, cortisol spikes. That's how you're waking up, literally, just to put it in simple terms for you to understand. If you don't have enough cortisol, you don't live, you die. It's just that simple. So that's what your body brings. Cortisol decreases when you're asleep. It's real low. But guess what's high? That's where the tandem with HGH. That's why HGH it's produced is so high. There's a sequence that happens. So cortisol is doing its thing for you during the day, but cortisol don't need to be up all day, every day, 24 hours a day. There has to be that symphony. And so when you don't allow that symphony, when you keep cortisol high and you don't allow it to taper off towards the end of that, whatever your day cycle is, even if you're someone that stays, that works overnight, you got to have that tandem. There has to be a peak and a valley for cortisol. If you allow cortisol to peak for 24 hours, like that's where you're getting into that chronic stress level. That's how you drown in cortisol. You need to allow it to taper off, and you need HGH to be able to increase while you're sleeping. It's a beautiful symphony if we allow it. It's a beautiful, it's harmony. But when we don't allow HGH to do what it do, cortisol, hey, it's like a wild Hollywood party. It get off the chain, and it'll ultimately end in your untimely death. That's not the way that you want to go. You don't need more visceral fat. I can promise you that much. You don't need more visceral fat. You don't need your organs to get choked out. You do not need to have the most dangerous type of fat running rampant. Listen, I want to see you win. I want to see you and your families be able to enjoy one another. I want to see you all be able to thrive. You don't have to die prematurely as my grandmother did. This is literally Maybelle's granddaughter doing all that she can to save another life. I love y'all. I'm Shawnte. This has been Health Class USA, and I ain't come to play. Listen, because I want to rock right now. Listen, I'm Shawnte, and I came and I got down. I hope that you guys can take these 4 tips and take it into your families and into your day and into your ecosystem. And I hope that you'll remember those 2 points that I gave you all about making sure that you practice stress safety, your stress mindset, and the DIY stress. Don't do stress alone. If you want to get connected with me, listen, Abundant Health Service on all social media. I love you all. And up next, we have Miss Rocky here to rock it out. Flare out, you guys. Woo!
Good morning. I don't know, because I see Barbara here. I was checking in for Barbara. Barbara, are you here today? You're here, but are you here?
Here, but I am actually at my daughter's volleyball, and I am happy to listen today.
Okay, to listen and stay on mute.
Completely understand, and she has been traveling the world, you guys. I've been stalking her Instagram and her Facebook. I'm so glad we're friends. I'm like, oh my god, for you.
Hey, you know what, Rocky? Thank you. And I've been having a great time. I've been volleyball and then spring break, and I like have so much to share. But Rocky, if you talk about social media this morning, I have some things to talk about.
Oh dang. Well, I'm not, but I can definitely insert it at the end. I can save space for it if you're still here.
Yeah. I wanted to reach out to you and be like, this is going bonkers. And I had taken some of your advice. And I sit there, I follow. It's what we talk about all the time of like, information doesn't lead to transformation, taking action does. And I'm like, very much like, all right, I got to do this. I got to do this. I'm telling you, I video 4.2 million views. And I'm growing like every single day. I've never had this. Anywho, I'll let you run the show. I'm going to volleyball, and I just wanted to say that you're amazing, and thank God I listened to your advice.
Oh, I love it. And what I will say, and that's actually really good, Barb, because everyone is tanking right now. Instagram is not even my favorite platform right now because of how horrible it is. So you just prove that you can absolutely still take off on the gram. So kudos to you. You guys go check out Barbara's Instagram, her TikTok, and I don't know if she'll add you on Facebook back, but if you happen to be blessed to be one of her friends.
I'm jammed up on Facebook. You can't add past 5,000 people. So
well, they can follow you though. They can follow you.
Follow me. Yeah.
Yeah, just give her the follow, you guys. So all right, awesome. So we're gonna talk about some, first of all, health, amazing segment. I literally was trying